Welcome to Crime Science, where we uncover the stories behind some of the most haunting crimes in recent history. Today we're diving into a case that has gripped the hearts of many. The tragic murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, two vibrant young girls whose lives were cut short in Delphi, Indiana. This case isn't just heartbreaking, it's a testament to the power of a community's resolve to seek justice. It's a story of hope, heartbreak, and relentless determination. So settle in as we navigate the timeline, the investigation, and where things stand today. And before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Crime Science so you never miss an episode. If you're as captivated by true crime as we are, hit that subscribe button and join our community of listeners. February 13th, 2017 started as an ordinary day for 14-year-old Liberty German and 13-year-old Abigail Williams. School was out for the day, and like most kids their age, they wanted to make the most of it. They decided to spend their afternoon hiking along the Monon High Bridge Trail, a popular trail near their hometown of Delphi, Indiana. The Monon High Bridge Trail was a striking structure. It's an old abandoned railroad bridge towering over Deer Creek, offering breathtaking views but lacking any safety rails. It's the kind of place where teenagers might hang out to take photos or explore. For Abby and Libby, it was an adventure. At 1:35 p.m., Liberty's older sister dropped the girls off near the trail. The plan was simple: explore, have fun, and be picked up later that afternoon by Liberty's father. But when the time came, Liberty and Abigail weren't there. By 5:30 p.m., concern was mounting. Their families searched the area but couldn't find any trace of the girls. As night fell, the sense of unease deepened. For a close-knit town like Delphi, this wasn't normal. The next morning, February 14th, a volunteer search party discovered the unthinkable. Just 50 feet from the north bank of Deer Creek, about a half a mile from the Monon High Bridge, the bodies of Liberty and Abigail were found. It was no longer a search, it was a murder investigation. Take a moment to think about what that discovery meant for their families in the town. This wasn't just a tragedy, it was the start of a journey no one wanted to face. Here's where this case takes an extraordinary turn. Unbeknownst to their killer, Liberty German had been recording on her phone. Law enforcement later revealed that she had captured a brief video showing a man walking toward the girls on the Monon High Bridge. The recording also included a chilling audio clip, a man's voice saying, "Guys, down the hill." Let's take a moment to appreciate Liberty's courage. She sensed something was wrong and had the presence of mind to record what she could. That decision provided investigators with the most critical piece of evidence in this case. The video and audio were released to the public in hopes that someone might recognize the man or his voice. A grainy image of the suspect dressed in a blue jacket and jeans became synonymous with the Delphi murders. Law enforcement believed he was between 5'6" and 5'10", weighing in at 180 to 200 pounds with reddish-brown hair. But even with this evidence, the investigation faced significant challenges. Who was the man in the video? What had brought him to the Monon High Bridge that day? And most importantly, why? Investigators knew they had a strong lead, but they also knew how difficult it would be to narrow down suspects in such a rural area. For the families of Abby and Libby, the waiting and the uncertainty were agonizing. The investigation was one of the most extensive in Indiana's history. Police received thousands of tips from across the country, yet each lead seemed to bring them back to square one. A composite sketch of the suspect was released in July of 2017, followed by a second, more detailed sketch in 2019. The newer image depicted a younger-looking man, sparking confusion and debate among the public. Was the suspect one person or two? Was the first sketch still relevant? Police clarified that the sketches were different interpretations of the same individual. Still, the lack of clarity fueled speculation. Adding to the mystery, investigators remained tight-lipped about many aspects of the case. They never disclosed the exact cause of death or specific details about the crime scene, a decision aimed at protecting the integrity of the investigation. Frustrating as it was for the public, this strategy ensured that only the killer would know certain details. It's worth considering just how complex this case became. Social media played a significant role in amplifying awareness, but it also brought challenges. False accusations and conspiracy theories started swirling, distracting from the investigation. Law enforcement had to sift through an overwhelming amount of noise to focus on credible leads. The Delphi murders didn't just shake up the small town of Delphi either. They captured the nation's attention. Online communities sprang up, with amateur sleuths analyzing every piece of evidence. While some efforts were helpful, others led to the spread of misinformation and baseless accusations. Law enforcement frequently reminded the public to rely only on verified sources. Amid the chaos, the families of Liberty and Abigail became vocal advocates for justice. They established the Libby and Abby Memorial Park and worked tirelessly to keep the case in the public eye. Their resilience became a beacon of hope. Let's take a moment to recognize the power of community. The town of Delphi, despite its heartbreak, refused to let this case fade into obscurity. Their persistence kept the case alive, ensuring that Liberty and Abigail's story reached a global audience. In October of 2022, after more than 5 years of relentless searching, law enforcement announced a breakthrough. Richard Allen, a 50-year-old Delphi resident, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder. The news sent shockwaves through the community. Allen had been living in plain sight, working at a local CVS and interacting with many people in town. Details of the evidence against Allen remained sealed, but his arrest reignited the hope for justice. It also raised questions. How had he evaded capture for so long? And what led investigators to him after all this time? This arrest marked a turning point, but it wasn't the end. Legal proceedings are still ongoing, and there's still much to uncover. For the families, this step is significant, but the closure remains a distant hope. The Delphi murders are more than a case. They're a reminder of the fragility of life and the strength of community. Liberty and Abigail's story is one of profound loss, but it is also one of resilience. Their families and the Delphi community refuse to let their memories fade, turning their grief into a relentless pursuit of justice. As we wrap up today's episode, we're left with lingering questions. Will justice truly be served? And what can we learn from this tragedy to better protect our communities? Thank you for listening to Crime Science today. If you found this episode compelling, please share it with your friends and family who might be interested. And remember, if you have any information about this case, even the smallest detail, please contact law enforcement. Together we can ensure that Liberty German and Abigail Williams are never forgotten. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to Crime Science. Your support helps us to continue to explore these stories and bring light to cases that demand justice. Hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and join us next time for another deep dive into the world of true crime.